Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is a Sunday, June 30th. I think we just had the best June since 1938. What's your take, Howard?
Well, I think we've been talking about here the last few weeks that it just looks inevitable that we were going to get. Market just wants to go higher. It doesn't care what the news is. I think they're turning this weekend's fake summit into positive news, which is fine. We're long. If you own the right stocks, we're in a good bull market. Let's go right to the indexes, Ivan.
All right, let me share my screen. Here we go. So this is the chart of the S&P 500. You can see that the futures are up after hours about half to 1%, depending on the index. So tomorrow there will be a gap, and the question is: are we going to see a quick short squeeze, or are we going to see a quick initial fade due to profit taking? I'm kind of thinking more of the latter, but we'll see. Overall, I'm bullish for next week.
Yeah, nothing's changed for me. I don't look at shorts, and I don't think you would be ill-advised to be shorting this market.
Well, the most interesting thing from last week is that we saw some very interesting rotations, while the momentum leaders, the software stocks, just took a break, and many of them pulled back to their rising 50 and 20-day moving averages, and many bounced from there, actually. We saw some major breakouts in biotech, in semiconductors, basic materials, even financials towards the end of the week.
Yeah.
So this is very typical for a bull market.
Yeah, the financials was interesting because if they're going to just spend their money now on buybacks, that's a reason for borrowing money to get into that. The lazy money that wants to play this bull market now finally has, the banks have said they're going to use their cash and just finally start paying it out to. So if you see Goldman, I think it was the first day it closed above its 200-day in a while.
Yeah.
So that's a change of trend. I don't care about it. Here, it can rally. These can rally. I don't like the chart setups, but I mean they're back in an upward, or they've broken their downtrends. A lot of these. So, but if we look at the brokers themselves, Schwab, I don't think so. Like SCHW. Yeah, they look. So it's weird. And maybe that just means everybody's competing with them on cash. So you've got Schwab, E-Trade. Yeah, I mean, ETFC maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah. So the brokers look like shit because no one's paying anything for commission. So we knew that was coming.
Mm-hmm.
The exchanges,
A little better, but
I'm long the Nasdaq, so
yeah,
I'm long this, but it's not very exciting. But I think it's relatively undervalued compared to the other exchanges. But yeah, I think it's biotech and tech. I think
biotech had a major bounce last week, and especially the DNA gene editing stuff.
Yeah. So let's take my favorite one is but the biggest one in the world, 50 billion, is Illumina. That is San Diego, my hometown. That's a big breakout.
Yeah,
I mentioned it to people last week. It's been basing for a couple of years. It was a pretty deep pullback. And this is one of those names 99% of the investing public's never heard of, but because I live in San Diego. But they have everything going for medical research and equipment and benefiting from this genetic move. Plus they're $50 billion massively profitable company. And so that stock can rally 100 points before you know it. So it's already gapped up really strongly out of a base, but as it hits all-time highs. The other one in this space, VCYT, which we talked about a couple of weeks here, I own a little bit. That closing in on all-time highs, and CSII. I own a little bit. It's kind of, it's just playing around at all-time highs. And then there's Victor, Yellow, George, Roger, Voyager.
Which one? I'm sorry.
VYGR.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, this looks great too. And then, old school Ivan, Facebook, on a monthly, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's definitely setting up under 200, looking constructively and
massively constructive.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm long that. So I think some of these tech stocks, Amazon's held in there very well. So some of these old tech stocks that have been basing a while, they have these smiley faces that you can see here, these green circles that they're kind of handling out of. And so we could see that. What else, Ivan, on the Google's the weakest. So, I can't explain why other than search is, their share of search is dropping. Apple's kind of in no man's land, as you just mentioned, because, I think China overhang. I think they'll get a big boost tomorrow. I think that's what the indexes are going to do because Fatso is over there saying no more tariff rise. So I think the biggest interesting thing that I took away from this weekend was the market's deciding to spin this China thing positively, and as long as don't fight the tape. Like, it may not be. I mean, tariffs are a massive tax, but I think what people are getting wrong about the recession is that rich people also got a massive tax break. So even though tariffs are truly a tax, no matter what anybody says, it's a tax on corporations, it's a tax on employees, it's a tax on poor people who buy stuff at Walmart. But with taxes so low in this country, it's just a different form of tax. So I don't think the rich people don't give a shit. And that's why I think you're seeing stocks continue to move higher. With overall rates are driving this, Ivan. So you were going to say the semiconductor index, nice base.
I mean, it seems the market was expecting some positive development out of that G20 meeting because the semiconductors.
It's not about G20 though. It's about the China stuff. It's about it has nothing to do with G20. This was all about Z and Trump.
And yes, because they were supposed to meet there. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, so what else? So biotech, we've shown a few, the same old software names.
Well, it will be interesting to see if we actually see a significant bounce in those software names, because many of them are back to some major areas of support, which if they are lost, I mean, they become short candidates.
Sure.
So at this point, if they bounce, they're really good risk to reward swing.
If the market sticks tomorrow, I mean, you could test a couple of these. I've got my longs on, so I'm just riding this market. But yeah, I would stick with these, the ones that look the best. AYX, Zscaler, haven't run as much as some of the other ones. Yeah, really, really, really tight market. And so,
and the other thing that 1 second, so the home builders are looking, I mean, very well.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, it's hard to talk about recession when the home builders chart is looking like this.
It's interest rate driven. What's on this market wisdom 57?
Here we go. So we have Smart Street, number one this week.
We talked about CYT, Voyager, CSII. So a lot of names that I actually just intuitively
software biotech in the top 10, top 15. This one is very interesting. It's back again. DXCM. I actually tweeted about it a couple of weeks ago when I saw it breaking out, and it made a huge run towards its all-time highs. Then it pulled back, found some support.
What's weekly look like, Ivan?
Here we go. weekly it's
Yeah.
moving a base, it's setting up.
And the strongest sector, medical equipment. So again, yeah, for people that have a little bit of want to do a little bit of work here. I mean, these things are not. These are all trading at 100 times earnings still, but growing fast. There's nothing. Anything that looks good right now is everybody's figured it out. What I like about the Momentum 50 list, what I like seeing here, Ivan, is just really no one's heard of any of these companies, which is a nice thing. There's, you can, now these are thinner stocks than what people are used to with FANGs, so you got to like trade smaller sizes, and if you don't understand what the company does, you got to be a little more nimble in your trading. So I'm taking small positions and just trying a few things, but this is not a typical FANG market of the last 5 years.
No, it's not. I mean,
Yeah,
basically the top was in when that, I think, 3 times leverage ETF.
When did that come out?
Let's see. So around January 2018.
Yeah. At what price? Yeah, that was a great time to just kind of take the pedal off the metal on. These are really fantastic indicators when they launch these type of ETFs.
Yeah, they're very good contrarian indicators.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
And, solar has been basically, I think, the best performing sector industry year to date, which is very surprising with oil so weak.
A lot of it is based on, I mean, that has shaken out more people. That is super bullish. And then the other one is Greece. So it's like Greece is the.
Yeah, it's coming back. I mean, it's been basing forever.
50% this year, though.
Yeah.
Greece solar.
It's a dead cat bounce, but
yeah. But anyways, there's something for everybody here, but it's not just sit back and buy FANG stocks. That's kind of where I think it's going. And I would say don't fight the tape. Let's see, this market looked really strong. There's a lot of good breadth. I think, people are talking about the dollar being a little weaker. But I just don't know how big an effect, because it's not a huge move. So I don't know how big of an effect that'll have.
Yeah, it's a time.
Be careful of which stocks you own and which companies are really affected most by the tariff. And you have to own companies that have a lot of operating leverage, which are the software companies. And then I think the big story of this breakout would be, do the banks have a continuation move? The ones that announced a buyback, Goldman, JP Morgan, Citibank, Bank of America. Do they see that breakout here the other day? Does this hold? If this holds and the XLF gets above 28, 29, you could be off to the races. So we'll see. If you, but I don't want to read too much more into it than that, Ivan.
Yeah, I mean, we see quite a few leading indicators that are pointing to a bullish market. So it doesn't make sense to be short right now for anything more than a quick intraday.
Yeah, but it's not perfect. Like if we look at Taser, I took this breakout, and it just reversed nasty. Yeah, I got stopped out on Friday. You can see, closed at all-time highs a couple days in a row after bouncing viciously off 64, and this move was a total fake out, at least. I'll take those trades all the time in a bullish tape, and you can see it just reversed 10 points like nothing. So very tough tape. It's not a, if you don't understand the companies, you can stick with smaller position sizes because we're so late in this cycle. But at the same time, money is just, I think what we're saying here, Ivan, from home builders to biotech to banks, money's not coming out of the market, it's just moving around.
Yeah, and also short sellers are getting squeezed. If you take a look at the biggest moves for June, many of them are in stocks that have very high short interest.
Oh, interest. Give me a couple examples that you notice.
I mean, for example, this one, eHealth. majorly shorted name. It just set it up near its all-time highs, and it just keeps going higher.
Very nice.
Funko is another one, highly shorted. It broke out from that beautiful daily base.
This is kind of an interesting company. The guy is a neighbor of mine in Coronado. I haven't bugged him yet, but it's kind of like a site where people trade collectibles.
Yeah, Beanie Babies.
Yeah, Beanie Baby 2.0. He's building a nice house. It's taken him forever, though. So I don't know. Seems like he can't make a decision. And it's taking
billion.
It's a $1 billion company. Well, it's, in 2019 in the internet era, it's not a big company, but it's definitely a big company. Okay. So Ivan, have a great week. I'm in New York, and I will see you. I will see you next week.
Yes.